This film will enable you to look inside Kirkdale Cave. The classic image of the interior of Kirkdale Cave is the cartoon drawn by William Daniel Conybeare and probably distributed shortly after the publication of Buckland's paper on Kirkdale Cave by the Royal Society in 1822 to members of the Geological Society and others, such as Cuvier, together with a poem. In his book Scenes from Deep Time, Martin Rudwick comments as follows: "The picture is no simple reconstruction. Into the cave crawls Buckland himself, candle in hand, illuminating this scene from deep time with the light of science, penetrating the epistemic barrier between the human world and the pre-human, and looking perhaps as surprised to see the hyenas as they are to see him." Buckland's reconstruction fills in what the barely textual record of the world before the deluge hardly begin to suggest. Above all, it becomes a keyhole in a locked door, allowing us to at least to spy a glimpse of a world lost that would otherwise be inaccessible forever. The original plan of the cave was drawn by Colonel William Salmond of York, a former military man, who reputedly funded and superintended the excavation of the cave in the autumn of 1821. The version of the plan appearing in Buckland's Reliquaiae Diluvianae, published in 1823, was redrafted by Thomas Webster, then employed by the Geological Society as keeper of the museum and draftsman, but who also privately drafted maps, plans and sections for other leading geologists of the day, not least William Buckland. The first contemporary description of the cave is given by the Reverend George Young in his book on a geological survey of the Yorkshire coast, published in 1822. Young writes, "From the present entrance, the cave runs in a northeasterly direction, and for the space of about 40 or 50 feet, it gradually ascends and contracts, the floor ascending rather more rapidly than the roof, while the sides also converge. At the time when the cave began to be noticed as an object of curiosity, and was first visited and examined by several gentlemen in the neighbourhood, and by one of the authors of this work, the cave had been penetrated no further than 50 feet in that direction. Since that time, however, the stalactites which obstructed the passage being removed, the cavern has been explored to the extent of 199 feet, making the whole length from the original mouth of the cave 245 feet. From the straight part of the cave now mentioned, which is only 2 feet or 2 feet and a half high, the passage gradually descends, then rises a little without enlarging much, till, at the distance of 60 feet from the present entrance, it opens into a kind of grotto about 6 feet high, 7 feet wide, and a little more in length. From thence the passage makes a sudden turn to the right, but winding round a projecting part of the rock, which is partly undermined, it presently resumes its former direction, in which it runs above 40 feet, and then bends a little more to the left. From the grotto to this bend, the floor is nearly on the same level, but the roof, instead of being flat, appears arched, the middle part of the strata above being gone, and their broken edges approaching each other at distances which gradually shorten upwards till a solid bed seems to form the central part of the arch. Beyond the bend last mentioned, the passage has a considerable ascent for about 20 feet, leading to another chamber where persons can stand upright. It has a higher roof than the first grotto, but is very narrow. Here, a narrow fissure, in which also a person may stand upright, meets the main cavern from the right, at a very sharp angle, running southward and growing narrower as it proceeds, till it ends in a perpendicular crevice in the rock on the southeast side of the quarry. The main cavern continues its northeast course for about 80 or 90 feet beyond this lateral passage, partly on the same level, but rather descending. Towards the extremity it is much contracted, and its narrow dimensions, with the impediments occasioned by stalactites and fragments of the rock, have prevented its being explored any further. About halfway between the opening on the right and the end of the cave, another branch is sent off on the left in a northwest direction, leading towards a slope. It has been penetrated for about 50 feet or more, though a man in exploring it must crawl on his belly. Now we can go to the present entrance of the cave.
There we are, here's the entrance. There's a lookout, that's where the quarry used to be. The entrance was over there, but 1821 all got quarried out. There's some light on it. As you can see, two passages to both joint back to one another. So this is hands and heels crawling. You can see there's various spiders, flies, and everything in it. There's one passage that goes back to where we were. That goes down into a nice little dead end there. As you can see, hopefully, little passage. Rolled down it before, but I'm not bothering today. That leads back out to the entrance at that side. Down here, nice little bit of the steeping passageway here. As I say, it's got a little bit wetter over the last few months. It was dry about a month and a half ago, all this area was. And that goes back out to entrances. A slight shaft up there, so you can climb up there. Might have a look on the way out if we've got time. And through here, with a bouldery passage here. And into a bit of a rift here, you can stand up. As you can see, various people have been doing little bits of digs, I presume, here and there to either find stuff. That's a left-hand passage. That goes right back into the cave. I've done ever so much of it, but I don't think I'm going to crawl down there today, not by myself anyway, because that is just a clear pit hole. Today we're going to crawl down this one with more hands and heels. Hopefully you might be able to see some of these passages. Quite small, but interesting. You can see where all the water's been coming down. Over the years, all the minerals getting trapped, and there's little stalactites and that, only little tiny ones. Bit of a stalagmite here, don't know if it's snapped up over the years or what. There's another little passage up at the top. Hopefully you might be able to see there's a bit of a crack. I'm going to come back out that one in a second once we've crawled down this left hand passage here. Another nice little low bit. A bit damp and puddly. You can see I keep whacking your head a bit. But quite fun. Slight little passage off to the left. This had been getting dug earlier on. You can see various people have been having little goes here. But that's all pretty much full of water now. Did probably drop a foot, that's probably a foot deep, that water. And then here we've got another bit of a tunnel through. There's some clay I excavated last week, trying to make this little passage down here slightly wider than what it is. Not quite sure if it really goes anywhere, but you can see I dug most of this out here. I'm trying to make it deeper. You can see there that there's a good 20-30 centimetres at least, no, maybe even 40. So hopefully I can maybe lower that in time. It'd be nice if someone else could give me a hand on that. And follow this right hand wall. Leads to another little passage. Another little bit of a dig that someone's probably been trying there. Don't know if that actually leads through anywhere or whatever. Various little hole here. Not quite sure about this one that's through there. I think I had a look with my friends a few weeks. I think it just goes basically around that corner, so I'm not really going to bother doing that one. So there we're going to crawl up this nice little passage. I said earlier on that we were going to come out of the place up there, and this is where you go to get up there. I'm just trying to adjust my arm a little bit. Another hands and knees. Bit of crawling. Nice interesting little bits here, various things actually buried in. I presume these are bone from years ago. Probably some are quite exciting and hiding under all this lot, but anyway, there's a nice little view up there. Hopefully this camera and torch works slightly better than the last one I bought, because you couldn't see anything, so hopefully this will give you a bit more of a look at Kirkdale Cave. So keep crawling along up here, watching your head as you go. A little bit of a wet pool here. Nowhere for the water to go, I guess. Various little channels in here, I presume these have been from years ago. Whether it seeps away through there, couldn't really tell you. Well, a little bit of an S-bend here. A little bit of an hole there. I'm going to squeeze through that one because I'm going to climb over this rock just ahead there. I am. No doubt I could probably squeeze through there because I am too fat. Anyway, let's go under here. A little bit further, we can stand up here. You can't really tell, but it's not quite a good stand up. But there's a bit of a side going off. Where I shone the torch down earlier on. So here I've found the best ways to get your arms up on the side and push your legs through. There you can hook your right hand leg out the back of that stone and then slowly pull yourself through. There's a little bit of a thing there where someone's been digging. You can see it goes quite a little way back, but when you actually dig it out, it looks like a rock there, so it's going to be pretty tight and probably not prove a lot to anyone. There's a little hole that I said we could have crawled through. And then, well, that just goes around that corner as well, but you'd have to be pretty short to climb around that, I think. Right, and there we are, back out to this end. That's where I crawled down earlier on to go around in the circle. So, left-handed is now crawling back out of the cave. It's quite warm down here, really. I reckon it's a nice constant 9 degrees, so to say. And I've nearly got a sweat on crawling round. Various minerals and that coming through. Don't know what all this like silvery stuff is. Don't know if it's just rock or to be fair what it is. Anyway, let's crawl back out of here. And this is back into a rift. quite rocky. Presume all these have fallen in over years, but no doubt thousands of years ago with him, because everything looks sort of reasonable. Little but cracks in rocks and that down there. And as you can see up here, various ones going off, but these lead back round to the entrance. Well, that one doesn't actually. There, I'll take you round to that one. Just nip through here. There you go. You can see. I get straight into this one. That's a rift just back up here to the left where I was stood, and this really doesn't do a lot here, I don't think. Just a pile of rocks and that. Right in here. Oh, sorry, telling a lie here. In here there is a bit. They crawl into this bit. Here, you can stand up. This is that rift that was stood in earlier on down there that goes to the left and the right hand side of the cave. And here's a rift up above. Watch I climb up on this rock. Keep going made a bit. But down here to your left, you can see it carries on down. Went down this last week, but like I say, bit of a flowstone here. Not as big as ones I've seen in other caves, but they have been show caves. More spiders hiding about. I won't take you all the way into this one, because you can see basically what it does. Just drops away in that bottom corner and basically ends there, just round that corner. Nothing too exciting. These various bones and that stuck in where the stones, where the flowstone is. You see up there it comes out and down. All from millions of years ago. So we'll back up out of this. There's a rock to stand back on. Oh, climb back out there. You go back left-handed there, that takes you back out of the cave, it does. You can see, I presume these could either be bones or whatever buried in there. Not much of an archaeologist, I'm afraid. But this is where lots of bones were found in 1821, when quarrymen discovered it. And then I can't remember who actually found it, some bishops and reverends and some other people, which then told William Buckland about this cave. This is going back in towards the cave again, back into the rift. And like I say, there's your rift up above. This is looking back into the cave. There's your left hand side one there that goes further into the newest system, because Buckland only did this. This is classed as the old cave that I've just been round.